A pretty good 7 days of weather is ahead. That could mean enjoying the outdoors, maybe some fishing. Well, this morning we've brought in a bass fishing pro to tell us how to make the big catch. So that's why we're heading outside this morning where Alex Elich is right now. Alex, you've got a fancy boat out there in our parking lot. What's going on?
That's right, Kristen. A very, very fancy, great-looking boat. I'm actually here with pro bass fisherman Mike Delvisco, and he will be at a meet and greet at a Texas Roadhouse in Elkhart today from 4 to 6 p.m. So if you want to meet him, just come right out to Texas Roadhouse, and he's joining us right now. Mike, thank you so much for being here. So, I mean, most people do fishing for a hobby. How did you get into it professionally?
I've done this actually for a living now for 30 years, and I don't know how it all started. I always loved to go fishing when I was a kid and just was fortunate enough to be able to figure out how to make a living doing it. And it's a great way to make a living. It's not always the easiest way to make a living, but I get a chance to travel all over the country and visit with fishing fans and fish all over the country and, get to spend some time up here in northern Indiana too.
Right. And then as far as the meet and greet goes today, will it just be, folks stopping by to just talk fishing?
Absolutely, and I do these events for Texas Roadhouse all over the country, and the thing that I love to see is the families come in with their kids and showing me fish pictures and the big fish that they caught, and giving the guests some tips that they can go out and take on their lake or their river or wherever they fish and go use it. And then when I come back the next year, they're showing me pictures of fish that they've caught from the tips I've given them. So,
and on your boat there, that is a hefty motor. What kind of boat and what's the size of the boat?
It's a 21-foot Phoenix bass boat. This is a typical tournament rig that we fish with, 250 horsepower Mercury motor, as you can see. And, that's kind of the standard what everybody fishes with on tour right now is your basic tournament bass fishing rig. And it's come a long way since, 30 years when I started. We fished with much smaller boats, much smaller motors, and a lot slower as well. But, the thing that I've learned from doing this 30 years, the fish doesn't know what's on the other end. So, whether you're fishing with a little car top boat or something like I fish, you can go out and catch fish anywhere in the country.
Right. All right, so now let's talk fishing tips, because I know people are just dying to know, essentially, what's your secret? So, I mean, what do you do if just the fish aren't baiting?
That happens quite a bit. And, you watch us on TV and it seems like we're catching fish after fish after fish no matter where we go. And that's, the beauty of TV is you can mix all this stuff together and make it look like we're catching them all the time. But in reality, it's an awful lot of time spent trying to figure out how to catch fish. And that's the question I get quite a bit traveling around the country is how do we figure out how to catch fish so quick? And I've got kind of, my own styles of fishing, things that I like to do in combination like with aggressive stuff, casting and retrieving baits to figure out how to catch, aggressive fish, and then more finesse techniques when they don't bite as well, or if I find out where there's some fish, how do I catch a few more? So some of the things, up here in northern Indiana, all the little ponds you've got and the rivers and things like that, they're all perfect for topwater baits. And this is the time of year when you really want to fish a topwater bait, and there's no better and more fun way to fish than with a little rubber frog. And this is a brand new frog out from Yamamoto, and it's got a couple little curly tails, and it floats on the water as long as you wind it in. So it's a really easy bait to fish. It's also snag free when you put it on the hook, so you can throw it virtually everywhere and put it where you can't put other baits. And it's as simple as just throwing it out and winding it in. And any of your little ponds that have grass or some type of cover, aquatic vegetation, perfect little bait to fish around all that stuff. And the bass here in Indiana love a frog.
Oh yeah, and it almost looks like a little worm tail right there too.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of
gives it some action when you're actually throwing it out and winding it in. Those little tails kick and makes it look like a real frog, and fish just can't resist it. So.
All right, well, thank you so much, Mike. Again, Mike will be at the Texas Roadhouse in Elkhart today for meet and greet. So if you want to stop on by, get a few more fishing tips, he'll be there all afternoon. Back to you guys.
All right, Alex, good stuff. Still ahead.